Hey guys, this review is going to be a lot more of a freestyle sort of review. I didn't have any script or anything. I just sort of went with what my mind told me. I looked at a lot of reviews and tried to put my thoughts together for this. So I hope you guys enjoy that. This is not read from a script, so it's going to sound very conversational, and I hope you guys like that. I wanted to talk about a game called Cuphead, a game that I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with, and I'm sure many of you guys have played it, but I thought I wanted to give my 2 cents on this game. Now, fun fact, I actually did not know that this game existed until about 2 weeks before its release a few years ago. I didn't hear anything about this game. I don't know how it flew under my radar so easily right until. So I didn't even have to wait. I only had to wait like a week or two until it came out. Now, I've beaten this entire game. I absolutely love it. I find it one of my favorite games ever. There's so many things that I can't wait to talk about. Now, this game was made by the folks over at Studio MDHR, which is not many people over there, but I'm sure you guys already know of the story about those developers. If you don't know, it's quite a risk-taking situation that allowed this game to come true for them, and I'm glad that they were able to start off their new careers in this sort of strong sense with this instant hit when it came out. But this game, Cuphead, is definitely a game that's not suitable for everyone. I can see people struggling and just hating this game. Now, this game is obviously known for its crushing difficulty. Now, many people would like to compare this game to Dark Souls. I wouldn't do that. I mean, Dark Souls I love the Dark Souls series. I played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and Bloodborne, but comparing Dark Souls to Cuphead directly is very wrong, I think. They are both difficult games. They are both hard games, hard series. But Dark Souls is a much different type, is a much different type of difficulty than Cuphead, mainly because Cuphead is a 2D platformer, while Dark Souls is a 3D our boss fighting RPG basically. But this game has made me rage so much. It's just some bosses in this game were insanely hard. It was wow. I'm looking at the Bumblebee and the dragon, those two, that fiery frolic, and oh my goodness, those bosses were quite a struggle. But I push through, and I absolutely love it. Each boss is so creative in its design, and the music in the background is so amazing. I have a natural bias towards the visual style and music from this era in time, from I think it's now dating back to 80 or even 90 years ago now that this style was popularized, and it's just candy for the eye. It's beautiful to look at, and there's so many different kind of weapons. As you go through the game, you're gonna see lots of different kind of weapons to use against these bosses, and the game basically, I love how it works that you're not just going to be using one type of weapon for the entire game. The game kind of like doesn't necessarily force you, but you decide in your head like, okay, I got to use something else to sort of beat this situation, because my equipment isn't the best suited for this situation. So I got to experiment with all these sorts of weapons. And the game gives you, I think, about six different weapons. You can have 2 at a time. And I love the idea. Because I go between sometimes I want the default pea shooter, and sometimes I want the scatter shot, sometimes I want the burst shot. But it's just, I feel like you need different sets to handle each different bosses, so you can't just walk through with one set of weaponry, which kind of makes you explore and seeing like, what is this weapon to do, and which one will be more effective for this situation. So then, even if you lose in a boss, you say, okay, then I can try this weapon set, and maybe I can get a little farther this time. And you can also look at, there's a perk system that's sort of the exact same thing. You can experiment with these perks, seeing how they work, and the perks, I would say, can help you more in the running gun sections than the boss fights. I personally, on my first run through, I never used the smoke grenade. I just used the coffee beans. I never really used the smoke grenade until my second playthrough. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of variety. What I would complain about the game is that it's definitely short. Now I'm saying I had an amazing time, and this game has a ton of replay value, but the game was rather short compared. I mean, this is an indie game, and it's not a $60 game, so that kind of justifies this sort of thing. It's a smaller project made by a much smaller team, so I think it makes sense that it's not exactly the longest game. It takes a couple hours. Obviously, depending on how easily you can get through the bosses will determine how long it takes for you to get through it all. I think for me, it took 5 hours, maybe a little less. Mainly because I was held up by the dragon and bumblebee on the honeybee and those bosses. But still, the game, it was still rather short. I'm excited to see the new DLC coming out, and hopefully that comes out soon. I know it's going to take a little while for that to come out, and I'd be glad to review that when that comes out, and I'm definitely going to be purchasing that. But there's still definitely, I always wanted more, and I love it when a game makes you want more of it, because that just shows how much you loved it. Second thing, this is a definite thing if no one has played it and they're really considering buying it, because you can probably get it on sale eventually somewhere, whether it's on GOG or Steam or wherever, is the default controls. You need to change the default controls. They are awful. They are awful, the default controls. And now you can easily customize the controls in the tutorial and in the options menu, so then you can get your abilities, so you can get your controls suited for your playstyle. There's lots of web pages online or tutorials on YouTube that'll show you better control schemes, and once you do that, it'll save it, and then that'll be perfect for you. I actually found this game to be more difficult with a friend, because this game allows for co-op, and when I played with my friends, we got annihilated. Like, I could beat this boss single-handedly pretty easily on regular, but then whenever I threw in a buddy, whenever we would play, we would get wiped right off, because you have to focus on also not letting your partner die sometimes, or just, it can be confusing a little bit to see just all this going on the screen. It can be a little rough, I would say, but it's still definitely a lot of fun. Now, since the game's been out for a while now, it has received updates and bug fixes, because there were a couple notable bugs that would soft lock the game that I've seen some reviewers complain about. But the game has received patches and even new animations and cutscene animations, which I think just makes the game even better. So if you haven't picked it up at all, or you haven't played it in a long time, then it's worth jumping into, because I think just give it another playthrough, because this game has some great replayability, and it's just something that I think everyone will be able to enjoy who enjoy this difficulty style. Again, if you don't enjoy this sort of hard gameplay, then I think it would be kind of rough to hop in. If you just want a nice easy time laying back on the couch and just having a nice experience that doesn't take too much effort, I wouldn't recommend this game. But if you love that sort of satisfying, you have to work hard for these sorts of victories, then this is definitely a game for you. Now, the game isn't just these sorts of boss fight missions. You also have these running gun sections where you're going to be collecting coins and dodging enemies. And in the game, you'll actually see additional tasks and challenges that allow you to get more unlockables by actually playing the running gun section certain ways. You can unlock different filters and color schemes, and I did all of that. It was I say it was just as hard to do pacifist runs as some of the boss fights. So, but it was I thought it was worth it. I loved this game. I loved completing it. I loved the art style, the music, the difficulty, the weapon variety, the creative boss types. It's just the shortness of the game and the default controls were definitely two cons that I think can easily be overlooked, in the sense that this was a smaller game and you can change the default controls to basically whatever you want in the options menu. So this is definitely a game I recommend everyone at least takes a look at. If your friend has it, then try it over there. If you're interested, then definitely it's worth a buy, especially since it's not an expensive game and it probably will be on sale eventually. So it's been out for a while now. A lot of bugs and and patches and updates have been applied to the game, so it runs very well. I don't think even my laptop can run it at 60 FPS easily at 1080p. So it's available. It's even on the Switch, so if you want it on the go, that's even better. So anyways, let me guys know what you think about the game in the comments below. I'll be answering to some of those. And I'm probably going to make more game reviews. Probably older games. I have a lot of older games that I reviewed. They were new when I started reviewing them, but I never got around to actually editing and making detailed reviews until now. And hopefully I can get more reviews coming out pretty soon. So alright you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Devil's Game, and gosh, they pay